then he is playing badly. There is no space given. Tendulkar, who I think is god of cricket, so they want to create some more people because it's a matter of TRP. Today newspapers can write your whole thing, as he said very correctly, that you pay 2 crores of rupees, they will have 20 stories per year. People write reviews of the play, of the movies, and they are paid for it. The best thing that has happened about it is that the general public is aware of it now. There are small little things that you have to drive out of itself. Public played a very important role. Shobhaa said media, I said public played a very, very important role in all the happenings that happened last 2 years, whether it was Nirbhaya's rape, whether it was Anna Hazare and Arvind Kejriwal's this thing. We are aware of what is happening in the sense, what is negative happening. It's a transition time. I feel that we have great future only because of today's youth. Today's youth may come across as irreverent, but they are very straight people. That's why this country has future. Because say my son sees a movie of mine, if I'm bad, he says, "Dad, what rubbish acting have you done?" He will not think about twice that I will feel bad about or something. Once I was looking at a hair oil ad, and I was just looking at it a little bit more interest. He said, "Don't even think about it." So, yeah, that's absolutely true. Like Shobhaa, for some strange reason, took out her huge hairbrush right now behind. I said, "This is destruction, mass destruction ammunition for me." What I'm trying to say that role models are in day-to-day life now. Unfortunately, they are not in politics. Unfortunately, they don't have a longer life in cinema also, I would say, or sports. But a person who is standing against, Nirbhaya's partner who gave a huge interview about what happened, I think he will be a role model. Role model will keep, the definition of role model will change. It will be people from crowd. They will become, I always remember Tiananmen Square, that lone picture of that guy who was standing in front of the tank this thing. That will be my role model. Look at the courage. Nothing more can be courageous than that. A lone voice who will start, all the whistleblowers who are being killed also are my role models. So role model is about honesty today. Role model is about, so we are going back. This is the cesspool. Quicksand. So before you get into that, you have to go through the depths of degradation to come out clean. I'm an optimist, I'm an eternal optimist. So I think thanks to today's youth, that's why all those movements became very important because of the youth involvement in it. For a long time I thought this current generation does not know anything about Raghupati Raghav, Raja Ram, or anything about Indian independence or anything like that. I was surprised and shocked when I saw. We think that we have to stand with a flag in our hand to say that we are patriotic. But generation which is born in independent India has great promise to hold. So those people will be role models somewhere or the other. So there is hope. Yeah, if you're looking for role models in politicians, they are disasters. They are a complete disaster. I'm sorry about that, and I get very angry about it. I used to get very involved in the last 3-4 months. I've just held back. A lot of people ask me that we don't hear you speaking about national issues because my anger is so much towards issues that I don't want to say something which is an irresponsible statement because it will affect certain people. But life is the best role model. There are incidents that you see in real life. They are role models. So we have to shift low focus. There are no role models in West also. We are still talking about Mandela, we are still talking about Gandhiji, we are still talking about Martin Luther King, we are still talking about other people. And it's worldwide, this is not only in India.
Point taken. One of the strengths of India as a country, given our diversity, and we come from so many different socio-economic backgrounds, different religions, castes, ethnic groups, one thing which holds us together is hope that you have a stake in the system and you can reach the very top. And after liberalization, if you look at the Sensex, the composition of the Sensex, 1991, 92 and and you compare it to the Sensex. Now the composition would suggest that 3/4 of the company on Sensex didn't exist about 20-25 years back. In other words, it's new talent, new entrepreneurs, new energy, people from different parts of the country coming into what would be an elite group of corporates or businesses. In the field of celebrities or personalities, is that churn happening? Are we seeing that a boy from Nagpur or Chota Nagpur or Srinagar or let's say Muradabad has a chance? Are they coming in? Is the country, our system acceptable of that? Because that would suggest a very healthy country. You feel that's happening?
Yes, I would say that I agree with Anupam that there's enormous optimism, even for some of us in media who can often be very cynical. But when you see these young people and you see against tremendous odds, they're succeeding, and they're succeeding on their own terms. And they're succeeding without any kind of patronage, political or otherwise. They're not looking for godfathers. It's happening even in our movies. You no longer need that one, and you don't need to be a star son or a star's grandson. Talent is being rewarded and recognized. I think that's a big step forward. And so when we talk about role models, I wish I could agree with Anupam that every neighborhood and every colony and every school has a role model. But unfortunately, we live in times where those role models have to be publicly recognized as that. And fame has become the ultimate narcotic. People are willing to do anything for that shot at being known. And they're willing to compromise, whether it's their principles, even probably discard their dreams, because they want to be famous. So fame, with its various commercial offshoots, with fame, especially for actors and people who are in the movies in different, not just as actors but as directors and otherwise, who to put projects together, and Anupam would know that well because he's worked with Hollywood and he knows the professional and commercial linkages that come with putting big projects together. Without that fame, you won't get a big ticket project to happen. So you need the money. It's a vicious circle. And the stars need the endorsement. Without the endorsement, the young women today who are doing very well, some of them more as fashion models and fashion icons than anything that they're doing on screen. But they have discovered that without that, there are no movies. The movie people have said, without the fame, we can't give you the project because we won't get the money to put it all together. In the sports field, it's different. You have to go out there and you have to prove yourself. And it's merit and talent and your gift alone that determines whether you're a winner or a loser. So I think that's the only level field there is in India which is throwing up actual heroes and actual role models. Politics, we still have dynasty. It still dominates. It's still a patriarchal and feudalistic system. I hope the next election will change our mindsets, but it's an open-ended question right now. We'll know soon enough whether the big change and the big churn has happened.
I feel that, I don't know if media, if you suppose delete the part of media, then how will your role models be? I don't know about smaller towns, how they decide their role models. We're talking about in cosmopolitan cities where media decides it, television decides it. Like there are multiplexes now and there are single theatres. If it's a rowdy Rathore, they think that it will do very well in single theatres. If it is a special Chabbis or Hosla ka Hosla, it will do very well. So there's a divide that is taking place.
The divide is shrinking. I think because of media, whether you're in a small town or big city, your ambitions, goals, your preferences are almost now. I think there's a very...
Because I think also there is a possibility for everybody, they think that if he or she has made it, I can also do that. You know, a lot of bald people after I made it in Saransh, they used to come and they used to front 3 teeth missing and thick glasses, and once somebody told me at Indore airport, they call me Anupam Kher of my bank, and can I also act? So I think it has a lot to do with your own personal courage. That I think is very important. There's a generalized statement of role models, and there is a personal. I used to find role models in autobiographies of a lot of people. I used to, in fact, one of my favorite books is Lust for Life.
I wonder if young kids read autobiographies.
Yeah, it's
It used to be big for us, biographies and autobiographies.
And that also, the most fascinating and inspiring chapters used to be till the person became a celebrity. After he had become a celebrity, then you lost interest in it. Because there's a lot of identification. I made it because I used to read about Chaplin, I used to read Ingrid Bergman or Lust for Life, and I used to say, if they can make it. So books, I don't know now whether people read books or not, even though there's a lot of crowd which has come to this very
For example, Andre Agassi's autobiography, hugely inspiring because he's been able to talk about not just the high points of his career and but also the failure. And I think that is the true test of celebrity, that you've tasted it all, you've seen it all. You are not living in just the glorious past where you were at your peak as a performer, as an actor, as a sportsperson, but you're able to deal with what comes later and deal with it with a lot of grace and with a sense of perspective and with distance. So I think celebrity is something like a very light pashmina shawl that you should be able to wear over your shoulders when there's a nip in the air and discard it when the nip goes away. And you should be equally comfortable with it on your shoulders and later when the temperature changes without it. And be comfortable in your own skin and you know who you are and what your objectives are, what you want out of life. Then it doesn't matter whether you're on page 3 or page 20 or not there at all. So I would say that's